wow. Bringing the heat this morning. GM.
Yo, I don't think that song will ever not get me pumped. I am a fan of that type of music.
Yeah, you know what? When we first got it, I was like, okay, it's kind of a banger, but it's also an AM show, and I was like, we need a morning show. Sorry, like maybe something a little more chill.
That's true.
And we
People
put it up, and
usually
everyone's like, no, fuck that. I'm getting amped. Let's do it.
Right.
Okay,
People
let's
drink
leave it.
chamomile tea in the morning usually before work, so they want a more relaxing tune. No, they drink coffee. They want to get it going. They want to get the party going.
Yeah, I drink coffee. I don't drink tea. Do you like tea? I don't drink tea. I don't like tea.
I tend
I like
to
some
only,
teas more than others, but
yeah, I tend to only drink coffee. I do drink tea now and again, but I tend to only drink.
yeah, I've actually really cut back my coffee consumption too. I used to drink like a pot every morning. Now I'm just like, just get my one from Starbs.
Yeah, I
Support my local Fortune 500 company.
I would do, I guess, 3 8-ounce cups, 24 ounces,
Wow,
and then
that's pretty much what this is. A venti, right? 20 ounce.
yeah, something like that, and then one in the evening, depending on what the meal was. I am 90...
I like an after dinner coffee, although most of the time at dinner I'm drinking, so I just can keep that going.
Yeah. I 90% of the time caffeine does not affect me. So I can drink coffees at night. Every once in a while, it'll be 3:30 in the morning and I'll be like, why the fuck am I so? I'm like, oh yeah, because I drank 2 coffees. But
are you sure that the caffeine doesn't affect you and it's just counteracted by something else that you partake in? I mean, it would be a counteractive. Huh?
Yes. No, I was playing coy. That was me playing coy.
Drugs.
I will tell you that I think people felt kind of bullish going into the weekend, only because coins had rallied off their panic lows. I guess we were worried that DCG and Grayscale was going to go bankrupt last week or whatever the contagion news was. It sent ETH down to 1080, 1070, something like that, and Bitcoin down to 15,000, maybe even a little under. I forget exactly where it got to. And we rallied off of that low. Now, we just rallied back into the old range, but I think in this environment, not utterly collapsing feels like a win. So people were kind of primed bullish going into the weekend. I guess the conflicting thing going on is the macro backdrop. They see the stock market doing well. They see inflation looks like it dying. Everybody's bullish over on Wall Street. Why isn't it translating to coins? We know we have our own scandals going on. So we go into the weekend bullish, and then we go up a little bit towards the top of the range, really tickling the nutsack there. Ooh, is it going to happen? And then whack, it got ETH got up to 1235, which was $5 above its resistance. Like, oh, here we go, fake breakout. And then it fell back down, mainly because of what's going on in China right now. If you haven't heard the news, there are widespread protests across China over their COVID policies. COVID lockdowns, zero tolerance is all still the policy in China, whereas most of the world has relaxed and said, you know, it's just something we got to live with. China is still being incredibly strict. There was a tragic fire in an apartment complex that was on a forced lockdown and nobody could get out. This has set off the widest spread protests for a single reason across China than the Communist Revolution during Tiananmen Square in the 80s.
Right.
And that has set some anxiety in markets, as you know, China is really one of the big reasons we're experiencing massive inflation. It's forced, you know, there's less people working in China. There's more people locked down. There are less goods getting out, all because of this very, very strict zero tolerance COVID policy, which has really come to a head over the weekend. So you could talk about the actual effects on economic activity, which we've been feeling all year. And now what seems to be civil unrest causing anxiety in markets.
Well, from an economic standpoint too, China's about to hit some difficulties that are the residual effects from their one child policy too, right?
I think a lot of the news over the last week has been about the global population hitting 8 billion, but some more interesting digging into that data is showing that China, which used to be almost the poster child of going to get to 1 billion people, uncontrollable population, they even, as you just referenced, had a one-child policy for so long, which they ended years ago as they saw this coming. But now
the cohort of that one child contracting population and aging people trying to get into retirement. I don't know kind of what the retirement age there is, but yeah, I mean, we you know, population growth is kind of a Ponzi in and of itself. Like, you actually do need population growth to sustain the economies and the systems and the supply chains and everything that you've built.
Ponzi schemes are where you
might change with AI and robotics, but we're not there yet.
Well, Ponzi schemes are where you give someone money and they promise to return to you more money and your principal investment. Capitalism is a Ponzi scheme where you need to pay them in children, and then you get a return.
Sacrifice your children to the capitalist machine.
Right. If you do not create children, the whole system collapses. We have seen this in Japan. That is making its way over to China. And now India is being heralded as the next emerging market. If you remember the early noughts and the theme in stock markets that saw the majority of inflows was the EEM, the BRIC countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, the emerging markets, as they were called. The famous thesis Jim Chanos got magnanimously wealthy on and put in some of the best returns any operator has ever seen in markets. Well, India and Brazil and Nigeria look to be the poster children of the next emerging market boom. And China is going in the wrong direction. Demographics going in the wrong direction. All of this is going to contribute to civil unrest because of the authoritarian regime, right? When everything's going great, you can kind of sweep all the shit, everything else that goes on under the rug. When it starts to get hard and the tide goes out, people don't put up with it. And that may be what we're seeing in China, considering how important they are to the global economic engine. Anything, whether it was long-term good or not, any disruption over there would certainly exacerbate any recession that we are expected to be in soon. So everybody has eyes over there, and it has caused both the stock market to open slightly down today and for coins to react the same way, though off the lows. And markets which opened up under 4,000 on the S&P 500 are back above it at 4013. We did come into the session around 4,030, so we are still down a little bit. But this is a big week for data, okay? I talk about data dependence, and there are some times in markets when we are more data dependent than others. When we're in a big uptrend and we know that the general direction is up and it's a soft money policy and we're in the bull market, a bad data point here or there, even 2 or 3 in a row, don't really matter because it doesn't make a trend. Once we are going in the opposite direction, it is different. Now, where we may be at a turn in markets, there are many signs indicating we may have bottomed in the short term. Not necessarily for next year, but certainly for this year and maybe a few months out. When you're looking for evidence to support that thesis, it seems to be there. But now we have a ton of data coming out this week relating to the labor market and relating to inflation. Now, inflation has been coming in soft month after month so far. And if it continues, that will be another tick for the bullish camp. You have labor, which, as counterintuitive as it is, we need to start seeing a weakening in the labor market. That's not just the unemployment rate, that's also wages, which have been red hot and one of the stickier parts of the inflation picture. If you want the Fed to slow down, you need the labor market to cool. We may be entering a perfect storm where the labor market, as shown by big tech, which if you're reading the headlines, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Snapchat, there are tens of thousands of layoffs happening around big multinational companies. You're starting to see cracks in the labor market, and you're starting to see cracks in inflation. In fact, if we look at the producer prices, it was absolutely dead last month, 0% price increases. Well, the PCE price index, which is the Fed's preferred gauge of inflation, comes out Thursday. If it follows along in the trend, boom, another tick. Then Friday, the jobs numbers. If we get a weak jobs number, or at least we see it as not as hot as it was, that'll be another tick for bulls. And then specifically for crypto, we have quite the event risk coming up on Wednesday with Sam Bankman-Fried in his first public interview at the New York Times Deal Book Conference. Will he be in person? Will he be remote? We don't know. What do you think, R2?
I think it's going to be remote. I think it'll be. I don't think he can actually leave the Bahamas. I think that everyone is right now just like, why isn't he in jail? Why isn't he apprehended? He's not even hiding. Like, I think he kind of is basically on a house arrest here, right? Like, they know where he is. Bahamas not very big. You can't go far. And I think he's bound to that island for the time being while all of this stuff gets sorted out. But I mean, as we've referenced and talked about before, and you can see the residual effects of his donations and his influence and his connections with pieces in like the New York Times and all of these other publications, which are barely painting him as a unsavory individual. Not even really in a bad, like, they're not even talking about him in a bad light, like he didn't do anything wrong. I guess that counts for something. And I know it's kind of funny, right? Because I said this a couple weeks ago, and I think it's really coming to fruition right now. But I was like, man, this whole situation is really going to burn people out. Like, everybody is just going to be glued to their screens for 2 weeks straight, and then after Thanksgiving, which is this week now, things are going to go really quiet because people are just exhausted about talking about this. But I think they're also exhausted because they feel like there's been no justice. This guy is just still doing whatever he wants to. But I don't think that he's going to be traveling to the United States if that's where this is going down. I would assume so. I think it'll be a remote. And unless it was some big kind of show of like, I'm submitting myself to the authorities at this conference. But I don't know. You probably disagree with that.
I don't know anything, or I don't have a gut call on what is going to happen. Is he going to be there? Is it going to be? I'd probably guess it's remote, like you say. What is he going to do or talk about? His tweet threads, anything we've heard from him, especially since it happened in recent weeks, has been incoherent, weird, stuff. Of course, also with the showy, trolly, weird language that he used, like that time, reveal with the one letter at a time. And I don't know exactly what he wants to say or do at this conference. Obviously, you would expect his main concern at this
Oh,
point
he's
is,
been retweeting Mario now. Okay, keep going.
well, he did follow Mario yesterday. It was the big news that he actually followed Mario Nawful. But it is I am curious as to what he's going to say. I am going to say, without knowing anything, and this is a worthless prediction, but my gut says whatever happens is going to be bullish. And I just think that whatever is going on with FTX, it's bad, but is not as bad as we think. Everyone is saying, how is this idiot going up there? Aren't there lawyers stopping him? What is going on? Well, he has had a long time to prepare for his first public statement, and I would hope that he has put together something believable and truthful. Now, whether it explains everything, whether we find out, exactly what the details are, I don't know. But this is going to be the event in crypto that likely knocks us out of our range. I mean, let's think about what's going on here. You have a macro backdrop of inflation dying. The main reason markets have gone bear this year is inflation and rising rates. You have a slowing Fed expected to only raise 50 basis points coming up. You have a labor market that has yet to really start to see any cracks. Black Friday sales were up 3% this year, which isn't great when you account for inflation, but the point is people are not really slowing down, okay? The consumer has yet to be hit. We're in a period right now where it looks like the Fed has manufactured a soft landing. It doesn't mean they have, but it seems that they've raised rates aggressively. They're towards the end of that campaign. They've killed inflation, and we have yet to see this reflected in small and medium businesses or the consumer. That looks like a soft landing. So you have that macro backdrop, which is destroying the dollar and causing bonds to go up, which means rates go down. Rates are relaxing, all right? That macro backdrop is more important to crypto than the FTX scandal. So coins are down here because obviously the reverberations, the contagion, the possibilities, all that type of stuff has to be worked out as the ripples of this scandal are felt. But the more important thing, the macro conditions are vastly improving. So my gut says almost no matter what Santa, just him coming out and at least, I don't know, trying to set the record straight, giving some sort of, whatever that closure is, as long as he doesn't come out and do just batshit crazy, backwards explanations, just trying to it's possible, all right? But my gut feeling just tells me that whatever closure or maybe even bullish news that it's not as bad as we think, or he had, I was joking.
I don't think anybody can take anything he has, with anything but a grain of salt at this point. But
what
unless
if he
there's
walks
proof
out on stage holding 5 ledgers and says, Andrew Sorkin, here, I hold 5 ledgers that contain $2 billion each of Bitcoin right here on stage. Okay. And again, I'm being facetious, but I just think that given the macro backdrop, some sort of closure is coming from this deal book, even if it's closure like, okay, this idiot did it, send the authorities after, right?
It does seem like there's a reason that this is happening.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I would imagine this was scheduled way, way, way before everything went down. But there is absolutely a reason in the wake of every other piece of information we know that they're like, yeah, sure, you can still do this. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I have no idea. I was joking in our pre-show that, like, I imagine him going out there and being up on stage and, starting to talk, and all of a sudden the authorities come up there to go and arrest him, and they go to put the hands on the wrist to put the cuffs on, and the police officer's hands just go right through him, and Sam Bankman-Fried is actually a hologram, and he stands up there and starts laughing maniacally, and he's like, I'm actually on my moon base, and like,
I can't see ETH not going up 20%.
Other than that, I don't know how much anything he says actually moves the needle at this point, unless there's that like 1% chance he has something incredibly bullish to say. But again, I don't know who can believe him at this point. So I think the damage and whatnot has been done to the price. And as you've said constantly in the show, maybe it's not as bad as it actually sounds, simply, and that's not directed at anybody that actually has their funds stuck on FTX, because for you, it is unfortunately as bad as it sounds, unless you're able to be made whole by someone somehow. That really sucks. I feel for you in that regard. But in terms of the whole big picture situation, the price action really does speak for itself. We had a 30% drop. But again, like, if we were on this show a month ago and somebody in chat was like, what would happen if FTX would be insolvent? And I would say fucking zero. Not actually, but like really, really bad. And then it happened. And that's not what was reflected in the price.
Here's my conspiracy theory. All right, tinfoil hat on. There's a reason coins didn't make new lows, and it's hard to explain. There's a reason FTT isn't at zero, okay? There's a reason. We can't explain. There's also a reason Sam is going on this deal book conference. We can't really explain it. It seems done from a legal standpoint. It seems like nobody would believe him anyway. Okay, there is a reason he's going on this thing. There is a reason coins haven't made new lows. My wild conspiracy is those two reasons are the same reason, and we're going to find out what that reason is. And I have no other explanation beyond that. But I think what I've been emphasizing on the show for weeks and taking the FTX scandal out of it, I think we're at a very interesting part during this bear market where for the next few months, it's going to appear like not only is economic data holding, in other words, like labor market not collapsing, consumer not stopping spending, all that type of good stuff, but inflation is dying. What they call that is a soft landing. Markets are almost going to have no choice but to go up in that fit. Because again, even if it's not true, even if what everybody says is correct, interest rate effects are going to be felt next year. We're going to have a double dip and a recession is coming. Even if that's true, if it looks by all measures like a soft landing is coming, large funds have to position that way. Look, if they find out it's wrong, they could start positioning the other way, but you cannot be caught not having at least somewhat positioned for that inevitability if all the data is pointing towards it. And I keep saying, and Pally did, we are going to have at least to me, 3 to 4 month window, could be up to 6, where it's going to look like we've manufactured that soft landing. That should be good for stocks. That should be good for crypto. And once we get through this, at least the short term large ripples of it, like if we find out that Grayscale is not insolvent, everyone else does have, no contagion, in other words, well, crypto should follow along with stocks and start to rally. I don't think ETH can get too high above 2,000, and I don't expect Bitcoin to really break above 28K, but I would think general direction up over the next few months, as long, once we get through these. And again, I think unknowns hurt the market most. And if Sam Bankman-Fried goes out there, gives some sort of explanation and says, here's the website with the data, the keys, and the whatever, again, it's some sort of closure. It's all about closure. Okay. Moving on is what.
Yeah, I agree. I think that at this point, and I think that this is what most people want to do, is just move on.
Right.
Like, I think that's it. And,
give us enough to move on. I ask.
Again, there has been a pretty good narrative overall around this being like, this wasn't the failure of crypto. If anything, it actually justifies its existence more than not. And even non-crypto people that have been talking to me about this kind of in my everyday life have kind of acknowledged that, right? And even some of them seem like do you think this would be like a good time to start buying? And I think the answer is yes, right? Like I think the worst is over with, in terms of bad news coming out. Now, like a recession and macro can drive the price lower, but that we were kind of joking about Thanksgiving weekend last year versus this year, when everyone last year was saying buy, buy, buy. I'm like, not the NSYNC song, but you know, we're at the point now where like down 75%. Like, I don't know how much lower this actually goes. And based on what we've seen in the price action, there's a lot of people that are very happy to buy as soon as it starts closing in on that $1,000 mark, ETH specifically. But Bitcoin also just made kind of its new lows and bounced back from that too. So, you know, we're kind of in that cycle where like I would start to get excited of I dollar cost average. I know a lot of people don't, and they want to play, nailing the bottom or close to it and whatnot. But for a casual investor, like I think that this would be the time that you would start to suggest that they, start dipping their toes in the water. And I think that's pretty much all there is to it.
I'm pretty famous for having muted the term DCA on my
Yeah,
Twitter.
you said that, so I was kind of frustrated.
But I will say this: this is the time if there's a little. I think a lot of exchanges, which people trust implicitly now. I think a lot of exchanges give you a little toggle switch for like DCA or like whatever.
Yes.
You can say,
Coinbase. You every you said it. You can set it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly,
and you can just flick it off anytime you want. Yep. Right. So,
but here's where DCA is very valuable for a casual investor, just somebody who has an excess in income and wants to do something with it. If they're putting a pretty nominal amount of money into a DCA, it's never like they just dropped $10,000 into it, and then 5 days from now the price goes down 20%, and now they feel like they just lost $8,000. It's this slow, gradual buildup in stacking of the coins, right? And that makes the swings way, way more tolerable because you don't feel like I just put it all in and now it's gone down. That's why it's important, I think.
You need to turn it off when coins go in an uptrend. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean in the next 4 months when ETH bounced to 2,200 and Bitcoin bounces to, 30K, you can be DCAing during that leg. When they get when ETH gets above 3,000 and Bitcoin gets above 42K, you turn off your DCA because now it's in a high time frame uptrend.
I think that's even just too complicated for a casual person. I'm talking about people that are willing to just let that ride for 4 or 5 years. Like, you know what I mean?
You got to turn it off when it's in an uptrend, or DCA is not going to work for people. It is not as easy as leave it on. Think about, had you started your DCA at 3,000 Bitcoin and left it on all the way up to 69K, where do you think you would be right now at 20K?
Where do you think you would be right now at 20K? I think that I think you would probably still be up.
Someone out there did the math and you would not
200%.
Nope.
No?
Nope. So,
but
yeah.
If you're doing a long-term focus and we're going into the next rally and Bitcoin hits 150K, like you know what I mean? Like, you're only looking at that in the hindsight of it went up a lot and now is down from there. But if you're drawing that up over and averaging it out over multiple runs, that's going to look a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get what you're saying. And I would say, like, if you're DCAing and price goes down, then you actually start to increase the amount that the buy is, and then price goes up, you start to like lower it in that trend. You know what I mean? But yeah. I mean, I'm talking about for like the absolute casual investor. Like, just a set it and forget it kind of thing, right? So anyways, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm talking about for like the people who are not that like savvy or paying attention on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
Not financial advice anyways. GM guys, nice to see all the familiar faces in there. CJ, Fellboy, Lincoln, Sandman, Catfish. What's going on, man? Mantras. Also, yeah, Mantra saying, please make a show on how to plan for taxes in Canada for full-time crypto people. I have a corporation I opened, but this is my first year, so any help or a video would be great. There are tons of videos out there for that stuff. My only real advice is like, don't take our advice for it. Like, I'm Canadian too. I'm letting like my tax professional handle it. I had a meeting with him before I started doing all of this stuff, trying to figure out, the viability of it, what I should be tracking, what would make his life easier. And I'm just going to hand it over to him. And if he has any questions, I'll answer it. But I am not the person that you want to be listening to in regards to how to prepare for that. I mean, different provinces, different states, different countries all have different nuances and stuff like that. So it is always better just to find somebody in your area that has experience dealing with it in the past and just trusting them to do their thing. So that would be my biggest suggestion. I think that it's so easy for people to just start, saying stuff on Twitter and how to prepare for it and all this, but like region to region, it can be a little bit different, and that little bit of a difference can make a huge impact on your
All
tax
I can say is that sitting there in your armchair with a warm cup of hot cocoa and you look out the window and you see 5 men in red coats on horses roll up to your house and knock. Oh, hey, anybody in there, eh? That's just there is no reason to ever invite that into your life. Make sure you pay extra on your taxes. You don't want the Mounties at your door.
Yeah, actually, and that is actually a thing too. You do have X amount of time to amend your taxes. So if you're paying it, it's never a bad idea to overpay at first, and then as things kind of come to light, or you kind of drill down on the actual situation that you have, you can amend it and get that back. The one resource I would say that you could probably check out is was it Kevin Rose's podcast? He had a tax guy on there, and it was American based, but we do share a lot of similarities, and there's probably some stuff that you can take from for there. So,
and I know what makes it complicated is the poutine exception of 72. If you eat a certain amount of poutine every year, you're allowed to deduct that much from your taxes. But it's it's again, this is why R2 has a tax professional, and we recommend speaking to him.
Yeah, I mean, there's just no substitution for it, and yeah, you're gonna have to pay them a little bit of money to do it for you, but it is a lot better than those Mounties showing up at your door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you are buying the old Bitcoin there, eh? So you're gonna have to come with us.
And look, wars have been fought over the poutine exception. Don't let the lives of your forefathers go to waste and not take advantage of that. So.
You guys do okay. So here's a question for you, completely on crypto related. Is there like a place relatively close by where you can get poutine?
They're not.
Do you have that? Like, is it really that
so
exclusive
there's
to Canada?
two. Okay, so one, it's New York City, and I'm sure there is at least one place that does actual poutine, because there's literally no type of cuisine you can't get in Manhattan or Brooklyn. But the common local delicacy is something called disco fries, which is a invention of Greek diners and is French fries with gravy and melted mozzarella cheese on top. Not a bad dish, not something that is unpleasant. This is some of the best drunk food there is. It will sop up that alcohol. It is rich and decadent. It is good. But poutine, it is not. It is not squeaky cheese curds.
I don't mind just shredded mozzarella on the fries with the gravy too, though.
It's great. They're called disco fries. You could find that in most diners in the area. Poutine, I'm sure there's a specialty place or two, either in Manhattan or Brooklyn, but I have not ventured yet just for poutine. The next thing I want is those fluffy Japanese pancakes by Uncle Tetsu, who just opened a space on the west side. Have you ever seen those? Those very tall Japanese pancakes Japanese cheesecakes that wiggle.
Cheesecakes or pancakes? We're talking about two very different things here.
We are. They're actually, believe it or not, both are a thing, but I was talking about the cheesecakes.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, let's talk about Yuga. Last time we mentioned that they dropped that kind of cryptic tweet that the trials are coming, and lo and behold, not all NFTs are dead, even though a lot of them feel like it. Bored Ape reflipping CryptoPunks, hitting a 74 ETH floor and seeing some pretty dramatic volume going down there. Bored Ape Kennel Club almost doubling in the last 7-8 days. A nice little run there, as there's some speculation that the dogs are finally going to play a part in something. Mutant Apes almost, I think they hit 15 ETH floor very briefly and are coming back down. Volume at this time is really just for a lot of people exit liquidity. So when volume goes up, a lot of times it's being caught and being forced back down. We're seeing that in a lot of collections, but Yuga related products doing a-okay right now. Did you see any like credible, good, solid theories on what this trial means, what they tweeted out?
What the trial means?
Yeah, like because obviously when Bored Ape tweets out something and it's a bit cryptic, the theories start running wild. Just wondering if you saw any credible things about what it is.
Nothing credible. Only the stuff you and I discussed on the show. Same speculation.
The trial of Jimmy the Monkey.
The trial of the Security and Exchanges Commission.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. NFTs, pretty tough spot right now. Most of the volume. Have we even checked the volume charts lately? I don't even know if I want to look at that. But one of the things that we've been talking about doing on the show, just while we're in this market, while we're in this downtrend, and looking for things to talk about, because honestly, like I logged in after Thanksgiving weekend, and the news cycle was just so slow, and it's like there's lots of content for FTX, but it's getting tired. I think everybody probably agrees with that. I think everyone's got a bit of a hangover from it. Yeah, monthly NFT volume down bad. But one of the things we were talking about doing was, every show, we're doing 3 shows a week right now, is potentially doing a coin of the day and an NFT project of the day, where we just kind of go through and do a little bit deeper of a dive of different coins on the market there, talk about what they mean, what they do, any implications of them, and whether or not we think it looks like a potential, and doing the same for some existing older NFT projects, right? I think that would be an interesting conversation to have, just the kind of the history behind it, what they're doing now, and yeah.
Yeah, the first coin that we wanted to go over is symbol FMC. This is a coin that we did create, and we do own 80% of the supply.
Nope.
We're floating 20% of it right now. It's on Uniswap. Yes, FMC. Bullish.
I don't own any of that. I've never heard of it.
Well,
Fido Meta. Did we look at this?
What is it?
It's ranked NA.
Good. No.
Good.
No, well, really, because I have been thinking of launching an FMC coin.
Okay, is it a utility? Is it just a pure like?
I honestly just think that symbol looks so good and it's so catchy.
FMC. It could be like a good tipping coin. Sounds like a rug.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
What?
Define rug.
Define rug. Yeah, those are some bold accusations there, right?
Yeah.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
Ooh. I really do have to do that. I got to talk with a dev. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but we will provide an initial $5,000 of liquidity to the pool.
We? I'm not touching this.
Yes.
The next interview we do on this show will be with a lawyer.
We will be minting our first NFT collection on Doge Chain. So
we got a lot of plans that I haven't been informed about here that we're making live on the show.
Surprise!
Dogecoin up 22% in the last week. down
Yeah, look, I mean,
8.5%.
if here's a basic strategy for swing trading in all markets. It's the idea of what we call relative strength, right? So relative strength is when, if the market is going up, a group or a sector or a stock is going up more than the market. In other words, there's alpha there. There's more than just what the market is doing. Conversely, if the market is going down, and there are coins or stocks that are either not down as much, flat, or even up when the market is down, it tends to mean that when the market reverses, those are your leaders. And if we're just, obviously Doge is going to be one of the leaders if coins ever decide to get off the mat here. It is still up 85% since the FTX news broke. Okay, so it was at 5 cents before the Elon thing. Okay, the FTX news broke when I think it was, what was it, 9 cents, maybe 10 cents. It fell to like 7.5, but that was
It was
still,
up to 14% or 14 cents on the
yeah, it
beginning of
got, yeah.
November.
During the Elon pump, it got up to there. Then it pulled back. But the point was, even during the FTX scandal, where almost every other coin went back to its lows, Doge did not. So obvious relative strength there. Another one that I am long of right now is Phantom Network. Even last night, as all coins took a leg lower, Phantom this morning is up 6 or 7%. Go look for,
yeah, but you are just chart trading that.
Just chart trading. No idea what Phantom does, and I want to make it one of our coins that we do a deeper dive on, because
Well, why don't we just start clicking around on it now? I mean, like I said, the news cycle was slow as shit this weekend. Everyone had Thanksgiving, and I hope all my American friends had a great Thanksgiving. Shout out to you guys. But yeah, it's like there's really not a lot going on, man.
And here's my basic strategy
Bitcoin running around the Bahamas. That's it.
That I laid out in my Substack a few weeks, maybe even a couple months ago, where there are higher beta alts with their own narratives, or at the very least technical relative strength, like I just described, whether we're talking about XRP and their lawsuit, Doge and Elon, a few other of these smaller alts that have their own independent narratives, or again, are just showing technical relative strength. My strategy is to buy and sell those, but base my buy and sells off of spot, okay? Because ETH and Bitcoin are still driving everything. You even saw yesterday when ETH tanked, all the alts went down with it, even more than ETH, right? ETH is down 3%, alts are down 5 to 10%. So they are still being driven by ETH, but they have much noisier charts, right? In alt, like look at FTM today. Maybe it's just a false pop where it's randomly up 7% on a day where every other coin is down. That's just noise, because these are alts, right? So this is just noise. If you look at spot and say, okay, I'm going to chart Bitcoin and ETH, and when they look like they're close to a bullish breakout or a bearish breakdown, I'm either going to buy or short alts on that call. This is what I have been doing. And right now, my favorites happen to be XRP, Doge, Phantom, Near. There's a few others that are good just when they're hot. I mean, Litecoin was rallying over the weekend, which is always a sign of the apocalypse. You knew we were towards a short when that was happening.
Yeah, Litecoin just is one of those that just refuses to go away. I really thought that who is it? The founder of Litecoin literally sold the top. Literally dumped all of his coins at the all-time high. It was just like, I don't want to have to worry about the price. Okay, not the all-time high, the former all-time high back in 2017. It went up to $360-ish. And yeah, just dumped it all. Walked away with it. Who was that? Was that Justin Sun? No.
I forget who it was, but a lot of people demonized him when what he taught you to do was
Charlie Lee. Sorry, Charlie Lee. Yeah.
Right. Think about what most people's issue is in crypto. They don't sell. Okay. This guy, the one Chad that went out there and sold the top, everybody demonizes when he literally taught you what to do. You need to sell. Okay.
Well,
And
I think it was more that he was the top.
yeah, I know. I'm being
Okay, all right,
I'm
cool.
kidding.
As long as
But
we're on the same page about
yes.
that.
But there is a urban legend or a contra play in crypto that says that when Litecoin is rallying, you either don't believe the underlying rally in alts, or it's a sign of being close to the top. Litecoin is always the lab, blah 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 blah. Now, I will say this: the Litecoin rally looks a lot more legit than usual. Like, it looks like actual accumulation. Now, could we explain why? I have no fucking clue. I don't know why it exists.
Litecoin is incredibly fast. That is,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's like if I were to send Litecoin to you right now, you would be near instant.
I mean, is this another scaling thing? Is it because 3 people use the Litecoin network?
Well, it's a top 15 coin. Like, I gotta believe there's some kind of volume that's happening on that
Yet
network.
somehow
It
in
has
all
to be.
these scandals, I never hear about large stashes of Litecoin needing to be liquidated off to cover, it's always other coins.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah. The so and so held $2 billion of
Right.
Doge. What was that? Crypto.com or something? It was like, yeah, it's never somebody has a huge bag of Litecoin that's insolvent. Maybe it's
But,
because they can move it so fast.
right now, look for relative strength. You could see it in like I said, coins like Doge and XRP and Phantom and things like that. Phantom seems to be an alternative L1 that probably does something faster, something better, something more decentralized, something more open. Whatever the gig is, we're just looking at the technicals here. And I believe Phantom was a go break out the long-term chart. Let's see if I could get to it first.
I did just have it open. There it is. Number 73 on the ranking, 20 cents.
Yeah, and
Up
Phantom
3.5%
was
today.
a $3.38 coin at the peak of the bull market. It's 20 cents right now. So it rallying back to $1 probably doesn't even register on anybody who was long's radar, right? It's that meme of the guy where it's going up 1% and he's celebrating type of thing. So it looks like people are accumulating into this coin for one reason or the other, has nice relative strength. Not saying to buy Phantom today up 7%. I'm saying look for those type of stories. And then when they pull back or they show attractive entries, or it looks like spot is about to break out or break down, do the appropriate trade, short or long.
Yeah, I do have Phantom stuff pulled up, but as I'm realizing, it's a lot of reading, and I'm not going to be able to just read it here and go through it together. So maybe Phantom will be the first one we do on Wednesday there. That'd be good. Just reading the chat right now. Ripple case could end in Q2 2023. I think that's going to be a huge moment for crypto, and hopefully we're in a pretty good situation then. Perfect time to accumulate Solana, and eventually it will bounce back. I mean, we've talked about this a bunch of times. I literally on a day-to-day basis try to talk myself into buying Solana. They do have a pretty reasonable community, and they do have a lot of development. It's second to ETH in terms of developer activity on it. I just does it not seem like every one of these people, or like you just said about Litecoin, right? Nobody seems to have it. It never seems to be at the Solana always seems to be there, right? Like Sam Bankman-Fried had a huge bag of it. All these VCs that pumped it and bought it at cents and whatnot that were up 10,000, 100,000%. Like it there's something to me that makes it feel like this all-time high may never be achievable again. I don't know. I could be completely wrong about that, but it totally to me feels like one of those altcoins in 2017, 2018 that I'm sure will go up in another bull run, but does it reach or exceed its all-time high? maybe I keep trying to talk myself into it. I keep thinking that that will be the case and that there's a lot of cases for it. But in the face of an extended bear, like you see even like Utes and DeGods talking about bridging over to Ethereum. Why? Right? I think Ethereum is the winner.
Because
I
they are
think
hype monsters who just take advantage of whatever the current
okay,
flow is.
valid point. That is a valid point. Um, I just, you know, in 2017, there were a lot of Bitcoin forks. There are a lot of Bitcoin competitors. This is the next Bitcoin. This is what's going to topple Bitcoin. This is the reason why Bitcoin doesn't work, and this will be the next one. Okay. In this run, we didn't see that narrative almost at all because I think the general consensus is that it works well, it does exactly what it needs to, and it won. I do believe now in the last one that we went through, ETH had all of those. This is the next ETH. This is the one that'll topple ETH. ETH is inefficient. It's environmentally gonna boil all of the oceans and blah 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 blah. Well, they fixed that, and I feel like in the next cycle, I don't think there's going to be that much appetite or belief that something is going to top ETH. So it's hard for me to justify that. Now, again, I'd be more than happy to be wrong if you're buying Solana and it goes up to $1,000. Like I will applaud you and congratulate you on a huge win. Like that'd be incredible. But I keep trying to talk myself into it and I can't. I just find that I can't.
I mean, Solana is going to be $30 within the next 4 months. If that return is attractive to any of our listeners, you should buy it here. If it's not, you should move along. That's all.
I don't doubt that it will be the beneficiary of pumps and price increase. To what level, I just don't know.
Oh, you must not have heard what I just said. So Solana will be $30 within 4 months, and if that if that gain is attractive to anybody listening to the show, you can buy it here. Otherwise, just move along. It's an old L1. There's nothing to be done, but it is near its lows. If you like 200% gains in a 4-month duration, this is the one for you. She's sparkly.
But in 4 months, what do you think Doge will be? What do you think? ETH will be. What do you think it is like? I doubt it's going to be the best one.
It will bounce back harder during the next leg because it fell the most. So it will be the beneficiary of that. Will Doge and other coins? There will be other coins that outperform it. Phantom will outperform it. Near may outperform it, but
in the last bull run, almost none of those coins that I referenced before, like Neo, like Cardano, like all of the kind of 2017, 2018 altcoins, there was Litecoin could be in there, Tron could be in there, Monero, VeChain. None of them bounced back harder or faster than ETH.
Yeah, the next 4 months isn't the next cycle. It's still the same cycle we're in.
Oh, you're okay. So you're saying that it'll be independent of all other crypto.
The next cycle.
Okay, that's fair.
There's too much to happen before the next cycle. Who knows? Maybe Solana makes a deal with the United States government and becomes the currency. We don't know. But if we're talking, everyone has to sit here for the next 120 days and figure out what to do with the capital they have at hand. I do think if you are a believer in a bullish macro thesis and that coins will eventually respond, I think Solana is one of them that will outperform to the upside, mainly because it has been the beneficiary of such intense selling to the downside. I like Phantom.
Okay. That is a totally fair analysis of it. And now I'm gonna have to go buy Solana.
There you
go. Can't talk myself into it, but FMC can.
Yes. I'm really good with other people's money.
Okay. let's throw it out to anybody that's listening and chatting out there. On Wednesday, I think we've decided that we're going to talk about Phantom Coin. What kind of old legacy NFT projects would you project singular would you like to see us talk
When
about?
when we started this
Or did you
show,
have one in mind already? Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
when we started this show, because when we were doing the pre-show, markets were still actually down a bit, and I was like, all right, markets are going to open down, whatever. As the credits started to roll, some massive pump goes on, and S&P gets back above 4K, coins start to break back upwards. I was like, wow, look at this. I didn't even expect this pump, little pumpy here. I was like, oh boy, we better not kill this thing as we start the show, because boy, are we good at that. And we kicked it right in its nutsack. Whoop, dead.
It's down.
Coins under last night's lows. Of course, not Phantom, because again, it is the coin of choice for all gentlemen in chats. But every other coin, down massively. What's happening? What's happening? Is SBF building his short position for Wednesday?
That Carolyn's over in Dubai counter trading everything that he says, or not even counter trading. They know. She knows.
Dubai.
I will say though, him retweeting Mario Knopfel is not helping his credibility case.
You would think after the bear market we just had, everyone would move from Dubai to do sell.
Okay, get out of here. He's gone. You're done. That was actually a good one. I laughed. It was a groan laugh, but I laughed. Man, 1984 revealed on the weekend. I guess that happened. GM Vintage. If FMC could sell Raid to a bug. Wow, 27% listed. This is
if you don't want other bugs to fuck with you, you just need to know which direction to aim, but it's still a good thing to have in your arsenal.
To Raid?
As a bug, yeah. You just don't want to use it on yourself.
I guess this is the 1984 reveal is our precursor to Valhalla. Not doing so hot. 0.06 floor, even on a 2K collection. That's very low. But
that's low.
That's low. This is this is where all of the news came out that Alex from Valhalla said, I will just pull a quick rug. This was, the artist that left that project to go do his own very dented fields weather report kind of thing. Doesn't seem to have done any favors for 1984 though. I don't know. This is pretty boring to me. I guess.
No offense to this gentleman who seems to have worked hard on his art. I'd like to separate that from the NFT project analysis we're about to do, because we are in a rut. Okay. And when NFTs are in a rut, it's usually something new and out of the box that knocks it out of it, right? Like, so, we talk about metas, but it tends to be like a trend you didn't see coming. And people like to discount the art, but I always say it starts with a project that has surprisingly good art where you go, wow, that's like really, really good art, because it makes people want to wear them. It makes people want to put them in their PFP. It starts to generate hype and visibility. So I think right now we're in a place in the market where nobody knows what to do. Most projects are just kind of facsimiles of other ones that were marginally successful. Everyone knows Web3 gaming is the next big thing. So many projects are focused in that direction. But if we're like, what's going to be the next Goblins, right? What's going to knock the market out of its malaise? Who the hell knows? It'll be something nobody expects that catches people off guard and you innately like when you look at it.
I think that's Goblin Town kind of did that, right?
Yep.
It wasn't.
Digidaigaku did that, right?
Yeah, I don't know if that was an art thing, but it was definitely a narrative thing, right? Like they definitely captured that with a small collection, and it went absolutely crazy. I don't know that Valhalla is going to do that. I do think that it seems to be comfortably being bought up around the mint price. The unique owner percentage is definitely dropping, so there are people that are loading up on this. Man, they made some interesting choices to mint right before Thanksgiving weekend, and then upon mint out, being like, "Have a great weekend, guys." But they're doing a town hall today. I think that they're going to be maybe shedding some light on some more of what to expect. I'm hearing that the reveal is going to be gamified in some way, shape, or form. So if you're looking for some kind of justification of doing something new or unique, maybe that'll be it. But I don't know. Um, yeah, I think that this has been very underwhelming for a lot of people that were very excited leading up to this, and this has been going on for months and months and months, right? Like they spent a lot of time building up the hype and pumping it up. And then just to kind of say, like, have a great Thanksgiving. We're going to go spend time with our families, which I'm definitely not going to, insult them for doing. But maybe the scheduling could have been a little more friendly towards all of that. So I don't know. What do you
I,
think
you
this
know,
takes to
this
get off the
was
mat here?
this. I will just give my honest assessment, and I guess shout out to Zeta for pointing this out. But I think this is just the case of someone or some team that doesn't care, right? Because everything they did was wrong. Not one thing, everything they did. If you look at every move they did in relation to how this minted, the only explanation that I can come up with is they wanted the money. Doesn't mean they needed the money. Maybe they do, but they wanted the money because the plan was awful. I mean, if you are going to have a 2-week reveal, you need to figure out how to manage that hype. You understand that a lot of people minting this, okay, that it's not about being a long-term investor, or you're not even necessarily saying that's what they are, but letting the whitelist mint first, okay, not having anything planned post sellout, and doing it on a holiday weekend is the exact reason it is where it is. And they don't have anything planned. I am not saying that they are doing anything scammy. My gut tells me that they believe the product they are building is so great that people who actually believe in them will be rewarded in spades if they just stick to it. And that's how they can justify doing what they did. But why do it that way when you could do it another way that potentially helps an early hype cycle? Early hype cycles certainly benefit the people who are buying and trading and selling and all that, but it also benefits your project. It gives you it's like your first impression of a project. Are people talking about it? Are they talking about it positively? I mean, the first impression of this project is a bunch of angry holders and a bunch of people making fun of anybody who minted, like, haha, you bought into hype again, you idiot, like da 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 da. Why do it that way? The only conclusion I have is they don't care. They wanted or needed the mint money. They knew it would sell out. And beyond that, they're just going to justify it to themselves by saying, well, we're building something that's going to return real value. And the people that believed in us and set on the application that they were going to hold for they don't care about the short-term, price flux. I'm sure that's how they justify it to themselves. But it's stupid, in my opinion. Why? When you could manage your hype cycle, they did everything wrong. I mean, you would do the opposite of everything they did.
Yeah, I mean, my conviction that this is all deliberate and part of a plan is like going down and down and down as time goes on. But I mean, I do have to like. I wonder, maybe hope is a better word, or like just thinking about how it could all go down. It was like, they were very deliberate in creating an application, making people kind of justify the means for which they get to mint on the allow list. And even that question of how long do you intend to hold, which is kind of just shitty question to ask when it's just how long do you intend to deliver value for? Or what's your strategy for wanting to hold longer, right? They're not justifying that in any regard. But I mean, it was a one transaction mint, meaning you had to mint two of them, or if you only minted one of them, you didn't get a second stab at minting the second one. There's rumors that it's going to be gamified. Maybe there is some kind of merge structure of being like you said, oh, you guys said you were going to hold, and you said that you were going to be believers in this, and I hope you held both of them. Maybe there's something to that. Doubt it though. That would be if I had to.
Is it more than us just speculating?
It's all speculation, yeah.
Well, I mean,
evidence of it, other than they put so much emphasis on why are you going to be a long-term holder? Why even ask that?
Sometimes there's evidence, but as far as I can tell, again, it's just hope. It's just people speculating on hope because, again,
100%.
They did not manage their launch in a way that's going to make people feel good about the floor price. And I don't know whether you buy into the we don't care about floor price, we do that. The problem is, if you don't care about floor price, you don't generate hype for your project the way they did. All right? There is a certain, you created the
you're saying the hype that they created for the last 3 months means that they do care about their floor price, and now they're not managing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Again, I think there are a ton of projects out there that are generally look, we're using the NFT technology because we believe that this is the way to go, but we're not fashioning this as a speculative investment.
Right.
Well, we did that. There are yeah. And
it was very intentional. And that's I want to make that clear distinction of saying we know what Star Wolves is and what we're trying to do. Valhalla, they generated a huge hype cycle intentionally with
an applicant. I mean, don't sit there and tell me that the application meta was not to generate hype. Okay. And if it was to generate hype, what was it for? Well, if it was only to generate hype for a sellout, it's a big fuck you to the people who bought, because you're generating all this hype and then you're reaping all the value from it. You did nothing for the people, who bought it. If you had from the beginning not generated hype, okay, and just tried to keep it inorganic, we really want to build this product. First of all, I don't think people would have paid you 0.5. All right. It wouldn't have paid you anywhere. And maybe you could have gotten 0.1. Okay. But no one was going to pay you 0.5. They paid you 0.5 because they thought it was going to be a cook. This is the issue. I'm not against projects that don't manufacture hype and focus on floor price. I'm not saying that phenomena isn't real. I'm saying when you do everything that Valhalla did, you obviously care about floor price. You're obviously fashioning this as a speculative investment and a reason why people are going to be willing to gamble half an ETH on it.
Well, 1 ETH, really.
Oh, right, 1 ETH. And here's my thing. You could have managed a hype. So like I said, even if you had just done a few things different on the mint, right? Why before a holiday weekend? Why a 2-week reveal? All those these things where did it have to be a 2-week reveal? Look at the art that they're supposedly putting out. This isn't fucking Clonex. How long could this reveal possibly have to take? This is so mismanaged. But I honestly think it's negligence. I think they just wanted the money. I guess the only debate now is, do they need it? That's weird, considering they raised so much in that pre-sale and they supposedly have VC, but all that stuff. Why would they quote unquote need the money? But I could definitely see them wanting the money, especially before the holiday season. Who wouldn't?
No, I totally get it. And like, we all know what American Thanksgiving weekend is, right? It is a very, very quiet time. People are busy with their families, traveling, watching football, World Cups on, all of that stuff, right? The attention was just never going to be there in the way that they projected it should be.
Almost like it was on purpose so they could disappear right after.
No, I don't think that is the case. I don't.
You should be working on Thanksgiving. Who's going to say that?
Right. And that's the thing, right? Like, I don't begrudge anybody for spending time with their family on Thanksgiving weekend, but you can schedule accordingly, right? Like, if these are Americans, which I
Unless
believe
it was on purpose.
right. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I also saw, was it Alex that was tweeting out like, we're working on a new proprietary like wallet score? Was that him? Do you see that?
I
Like
don't know
wallet,
if it
like
was him, but I'm not a fan of social scores.
right? Yeah, we already went through that. Like, I can tell you one thing: my wallet's probably got a pretty good holder score.
Yeah.
Not to my own benefit, I will say that. But
I thought that was an interesting proposition somebody made, that the next marketplace should launch on that metric. The people who held the most stuff to zero get the most coins allocated.
right,
Problem is, you got to understand, it's a top-down economy in those things. You need the rich, you have to bait the rich people into the system to get the plebes to follow. If you give the plebes all the money, the rich people are like, I ain't following you in there. You're who we dump on. Dumbasses.
yeah, interesting stuff here. I do believe that Valhalla probably has a couple of things up their sleeve. I don't know that it will go dramatically below mint price during the kind of the pre-reveal. I think we've locked the bottom in, and now it's just like anybody that wanted to mint more now has an opportunity to buy more at that price, and that's fine. But I don't know what makes this go above 1 ETH at this point, especially with, there's already 9% listed. If the volume really, really ramps up on this, there's going to be a lot of listings too of people that are just like, yeah, okay, this was great. I'm going to take my 25-30% and I'm bailing. So there's a lot of work to be done. As Catfish pointed out, there's a town hall that is going down, I think at 11. No, let me get this right. I'm going to just check the announcements in there. Going down shortly in the Valhalla Discord. Monday, November 28th. Yep, that's it. Community conference call at noon and at 8 p.m. today. So they're doing two of them for holders only. I don't like that. Why gate that?
I don't know. I mean, these have been, to me, like, they have...
Why don't you want people to hear what you're talking about? Like, and there's a lot of people that are going to say, like, if I am investing 0.5 ETH, 1 ETH into this, I want to know, I want to hear from them, I want to talk to them before I pull the trigger on that. And that's actually completely fair. But you got to hold one of these to hear what they're going to talk about?
It's okay, just so... The thing is, they have, in a sense, ruined these the same way Discord notifications get ruined when you send too many. They have like 3 of these community meetings a week. Like, they're obviously, if they were saying anything of substance, that shit would filter down into Twitter hype, Twitter threads, like all that shit. They have like 10 of these community meetings a day, and now has one bit of news come from these things that has been at all relevant. Like, maybe they will surprise a gamification, burn one, keep one, token law. Who knows? I mean, I fucking pray and hope they do. I just don't believe it at this point. Because it's too much of a sandbag. Like, I have been Maybe it's because I am so jaded from every other NFT project, but at this point, the bluff is too long, too much of a sandbag. If they had something up their sleeve, I think we would have heard about it.
Well, no, okay. So if you're right about that, that is a big problem because all they have done is say that they have more up their sleeve. You know what I mean? Like the town halls that they've done, the calls, everything. We are working with this partner. We can't say who yet. We've signed this deal. We can't talk about it that much more. This is coming, but we can't say what. But it's there, and trust us, it's big. Like they have done this time and time and time again, to the point where like it was almost an ongoing joke that was what the whole meeting was them just saying like big deal, but gotta say, and it's fine because you do have to use that marketing cycle and use those announcements. And if they're not completely finalized or there's some stuff on the other party's kind of side that they need to work out first too, like, yeah, you can't really talk about it much more until you're both ready to announce and finalize the deal. No big deal. But the fact that they've been saying it and implying it shows that they should have some kind of marketing schedule up their sleeves. And that just goes against everything of minting out a day before the Thanksgiving long weekend and then just saying like, have a great weekend, guys. We'll touch base next week. Cool. Thanks for the 5 milli.
Yeah. We're all trying to bend over backwards to figure out an explanation when it's probably just the simplest. They wanted the money and knew they could mint out.
Right. Which it typically comes down to as the simplest answer, right?
Please, Alex, prove me wrong, or happily come on the show and explain each point. I don't think you guys are nefarious. I don't think you guys are rugs or malignant. And I have a gut feeling you believe in your project, the product you're building, and the partnerships you have so much that long-term holders are going to be rewarded anyway. I would still love some answers to some very basic questions that we, as NFT market analysts, participant, project founders, know how you manage a whitelist, how you manage a hype cycle, how you manage a sellout, all that stuff. I would love some answers just to a few simple questions. That's all. Why 2-week reveal? Why before Thanksgiving? Why nothing to go right after mint?
Well, maybe in an hour we will have some of those answers. So I'm gonna be listening to that.
I said we'll see, like you said.
Well, I'm gonna be doing some pixel art stuff after the show and streaming on that. So maybe I'll just tap into the Discord there and stream it. And if anybody wants to listen, you can come join me. Or if you're a holder, just go listen there. Doesn't matter. But I'm interested to what they have to say, and I just hope that there is some form of substance, right? I'm not like there's a lot of risk in this market. Like everything that you're buying, if it's for a flip, if it's for a cook, like there's a lot of risk involved in that, and I'm willing to accept that. It's fine. And you have to be too, right? Like you have to, you're putting your ETH in their hands that they're going to deliver value. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not getting my pitchfork out over this, but I do just hope that there's more to it, that they have a plan, that they're coming out with stuff. It's all good. Making me feel ruggish after this. I mean, for you guys that are listening, we're going to wrap this up in a couple minutes. But if you want to type in chat, like, what would make you bullish on Valhalla right now more than you're feeling right now? Like, what mechanics, what plan do they have to have? And I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't be. I'm actually still relatively bullish on what they're trying to achieve. I think they have a huge uphill battle in the streaming platform industry. Like, I think it's a very, very difficult space to enter. And we've seen big, well-funded companies try and do the same thing. Maybe not from a Web3 kind of standpoint, but I appreciate the direction that Stacked is trying to go into. But I mean, I would be shocked if there is anybody that was really bullish on this pre-mint that feels more bullish on it now than ever, right? Like what would have got you there? I don't think they've done anything to do that.
I don't think it's a rug.
No, I don't either. I really don't.
I think they believe in whatever they are building so much they are confident they're going to deliver long-term value to holders. I just would like to know simply why they didn't use simple market analysis for their mint, and that is it.
Well, all eyes were on them during that mint process. Like, doing Twitter spaces, doing AMAs, Discord, chat, parties, whatever. I don't fucking care. Like, just communicating throughout it would have been huge for them because they would have had all of the attention in the entire market, the entire space. I think the most bullish thing that's happened to this project was NFT ethics trying to kill them a day before the mint. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that
dastardly.
I have nothing for that account. They do this like altruistic, I'm trying to stop people from minting rugs or whatever. Like, if you have all that information, release it a week before, not a day before. They don't care.
Mint my rug. Do not mint my rug. Well, no, mint my rug if I ever make one, but don't mint other people's. You haven't said one thing about my PFP.
Oh, I see it's a chart going up and a Santa Claus riding a horse.
Now, I did not expect it to be a horse. That was Dolly's own personal touch on what I told it to do. But
the Santa rally?
It is one of the Santa rally iterations that came out of my Dolly journey this weekend.
I haven't used Dolly in a while. I used up all of my free ones. Dude, I went through my subscriptions, right? Mm-hmm. All of the things that you're paying for in a month. Oh, it was terrible. Oh, God. It was bad. I recommend anybody do that if you haven't for a while.
There's even apps that'll do it for you.
Yeah. I should download one of those.
Yeah.
Good financial fundamentals.
Bankrupt?
What's that? I thought they declared bankruptcy along with everyone else.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought that was old news. I'm like, is that why coins went down? I mean, the S&P, again, the S&P has been not struggling, but just, again, consolidating here.
Oh, no, they just tweeted out, BlockFi filed voluntary cases under Chapter 11 of the U.S. Bankruptcy Code.
Oh, okay. So that's why coins are down. And look at that. They're already chugging on back. So,
But, I mean, I thought that already happened. So, I mean, I know I'm not the end-all, be-all of whatever. I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know. From everybody I talked to, I think you are the authority in crypto.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yes.
You talk to people? About me? You're talking about me?
Yes. Only good things. Except for your toner regimen. We were wondering if maybe this week you went out and researched some toner. Some facial toner?
Facial toner? Why? What did I do? What's going on with my face?
You don't remember Friday's show? You were talking about facial toner. Woo!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When you attacked me. Why did you do that? I don't need this.
You don't.
It's Monday,
I don't need it. It feels good. It's nice. It's like going to a spa every day.
Frequent responses to frequently asked questions.
Is your money gone? Yes. Yeah. Will you get it back?
Do you think they answered that? Does BlockFi hold 100% of client deposits on FTX? The rumors that a majority of BlockFi assets are custodied at FTX are false. However, as shared, we do have significant exposure to FTX and associated corporate entities.
I'm pretty sure in all the agreements when you deposit on like these exchanges, it doesn't say you're depositing your money to an exchange. It says you're lending the money to an entity.
Is that what it says?
That's the trick here. Yeah. You look at all the agreements. If you read the fine print, while the UI makes it look like a bank and a custodian of your money and an exchange, in the fine print, it says that you are not depositing money with them, you are lending them money. That gives them the right to do what they want with it. Sam Bankman-Fried has not been arrested. Do with that what you will.
Have you been following? I mean, I didn't know how much we wanted to talk about it, but BitBoy running around the Bahamas.
What do you mean by following?
Have you been watching it? Paying attention to it?
I don't watch any of the videos. I see other crypto Twitter accounts tweeting about it, so I'm aware it's happening.
Oh my God. Do you remember this commercial? The Terry Tate office linebacker? This is obviously a parody of it, but oh man. There were these old Reebok commercials. Terry Tate office linebacker. One of the best commercials in the game ever. Go look it up. I'm sure they're all on YouTube. Terry Tate was all time 100%.
If I were
like a series.
If I were Sam Bankman-Fried, I would go outside and taunt BitBoy and see if he punches me, and then I would have him arrested by the Bahamian authorities and thrown in prison for many years. Because I still have lots
the ultimate plot twist: BitBoy gets arrested for stalking SBF.
I'd be like, what? One punch in the face by this fat ass, and I get to own Twitter for the next 3 days? Sure. Come on, fat fuck. Why are you down here? What's up? I'm here. Please come put your hands on me. I would just like to deplatform, not literally. They should, of course, have the right to have a presence on social media. I would like, in the popular lexicon, to metaphorically deplatform scammers like BitBoy, like CZ. I mean, wait, who? Like people that we should not be putting on pedestals just because this other guy we put on a pedestal fell off his pedestal. Like,
yeah, there's two people I don't want to see come out of the other side of this looking great, and BitBoy and Mario Nawful are two people that we do not need.
It's not a good sign for crypto when these are the people you immediately elevate after the FTX scandal. It confirms the bias a lot of people have about cryptographic blockchain technology in the industry surrounding it. So,
well, I mean, BitBoy has been at the center of more than his fair share of getting paid a lot. There was a point where he was getting like $200,000 or $300,000 per video on coins that he was doing, and it was Kobe that leaked that, and he was very mad that got leaked. A lot of those coins were just absolute dog shit. There's videos of him pumping and promoting recently FTT. Obviously, this was before all of the stuff, that came out with FTX and whatnot. But again, like, you know, this guy has made a lot of money, a ton of money off the back of promoting a lot of garbage. And then he did the whole, like, well, what else was I supposed to do? Like, monetizing my content and my following and blah, 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 blah. I don't really care at the end of the day. But again, this is this is somebody who has gotten incredibly rich off the back of, you know, crypto participants chasing around somebody else who has gotten incredibly rich off the back of participants of the crypto industry.
Here's actually another reason I think the FTX scandal is something we don't understand yet. There's no way the universe, God, whatever you believe in, would allow this fuck to be right about anything. The fact that he is so on top of this, Sam Bankman-Fried is a scammer, I caught the scammer, the fact that he is like so right here makes me think there's something we don't understand. The universe would not allow BitBoy to be this right. It just literally could not happen. There's something we don't. The laws of physics could not allow what you are seeing.
Like the universe should be just fighting against it?
Something's going to come out that is going to make BitBoy look so bad in all of this. And Sam Bankman-Fried, not as bad. And there's going to be a lot of money recovered, and FTX account holders are going to be made whole, whether it's from outside investment or money found.
Maybe it'll be the Bahamian. How do you say that? Bahamas? Bahamian. There it is. Sorry. My Canadian accent. My bad. Maybe they're going to be the ones that bail out FTX, and they're gonna look like a crypto utopia at the end of this. I mean, they're already kind of doing that. They're addressing it.
If you had listened to the speech by one of their ministers yesterday, it was essentially a pitch how everything is working as expected. The FTX scandal is actually an example of why you should start your crypto business here in the Bahamas. Please come to the sunny Bahamas.
You won't get arrested.
And then, it was basically a tourism commercial for the Better Business Commerce.
That's why BitBoy's there. He's like, I'm not going to get arrested here either. Nice.
Exactly. Yeah. So
next thing you know,
I'm not 100% confident in them maybe sussing out the whole truth. I still think maybe Wednesday will reveal more than we know now, even though it's hard to believe.
Well, let's talk about what happens if all it is just a fluff of like, see guys, he is really sorry. Like just basically rehashing the New York Times article about him, right? Like what does that do?
Nothing.
I think
that'd be the worst. That would be the worst possible outcome. I'd
be the most boring.
Yeah, because I think it would keep coins in there. We don't know what to do, so we're just going to be stuck in this range phase. I think something good or bad needs to happen so that we can knock coins out of the range that they are in now. Though I'll tell you, if we just...
Are you in the Bahamas right now? Is that where the sirens...
I will say this very confidently. If we continue doing this show for the next 4 or 5 hours, we will knock ETH out of range. It will be to the downside, but it will be out of range.
4 or 5 hours. You want to just keep going? We're just going to sit here?
Well, how about we open massive short positions in perps and then just keep going?
What are we? Oh, down 5% now? Wow. We're doing it. Well, for anybody that was looking for lower prices to buy ETH at, you should be encouraging us to stay on. Run 24-hour stream, 24-hour AM show.
I continue to fade everything that's going on right now. I'll shamelessly plug my Substack and my Discord, of which you could find both links in my Twitter, because my Substack goes over 2 things: how data heavy this week is, the ramifications it can have for macro markets in general, but also seasonality. Okay, we are entering weaker seasonality for the traditional markets, the S&P 500. It tends to be weaker in the first week of December and then starts to get stronger again towards the end of the second week of December. So I'm a big student of seasonality. A little weakness here, either this week or next week, wouldn't surprise me. I am still of a buy the dip mindset. Any weakness is an opportunity for me personally. And as I say at the end there, as long as the S&P doesn't lose 39.20, I feel constructive on all things coins included. But let us see if Santa Claus can come to town.
We did break below 4K.
Yeah, the S&P is right near its lows of the day, made slightly new lows. And for the gated area of my Discord, we're discussing which stock. We were expecting this pullback, and we are discussing which themes we are going to hit with our available cash once we think we are close to resuming the uptrend. I would say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week has the potential to be weak or choppy at the least, but it's where we'll be picking our themes and then hopefully be long into Thursday and Friday. We'll see how it exactly plays out, but we're just watching and observing right now, waiting for our spot. So wouldn't even mind it to get a little weaker here, but still only because we want to buy things 11-11.
11-11?
11-11. It's 11-11.
Oh, the time.
Here in America, I'm not sure what it is in Canadian time.
No, it's 11-11.
I know. That was my
I know you know
joke of the day. Yes.
You're so hard on Canadians, man.
I only do it because you guys, I envy your snow, your hockey, and your French fries covered in gravy.
I haven't had poutine in a while. Staying away from it.
I love hockey.
I like live hockey. I don't. I can't sit there and watch it.
I know
playoff hockey's good. That's it.
A lot of our fans may be paying attention to the other sporting competition going on right now in the world called the World Cup. It is where soccer takes the main stage every 4 years. I will contend soccer is a slower, less entertaining form of hockey in which the men run on grippy grass instead of slippery ice. They have a much larger field, so there's a lot less action and a lot less contact. Though when there is contact, it is not in fights that are encouraged, but it is in the faking of injuries so that referees will hold up, as I understand, colored index cards, which may indicate an advantage one way or the other. So I think all of you may be enjoying the slower sport of round ball on ground foot contact, may enjoy hockey. If you go check football. It out. Yeah, hockey, the real man's sport.
Yeah, Brazil and Switzerland playing right now.
How many
the term for 0-0
play so far in the first half?
Pardon me?
How many twisted ankles have stopped play so far in the first half?
I don't have the stats on that.
All right. Someone should keep those stats. Number of
Brazil.
dives, or how do they count time? Is it sessions, quarters?
There's halves. They're 45-minute halves.
Mm-hmm.
The clock does not stop at all. And then they add time on at the end of the half based on how
and
much.
It's up to the refs if they just want to extend the game because I feel like it.
No, there's a little bit of there's a little bit of calculation involved.
They talk about refs in American sports affecting games. If you're fucking ahead in soccer and the game's over, the ref could just be like, nah, no, it isn't.
Yeah, let's go 8 minutes. This has been fun. I'm getting tired. Let's do 2.
What are people doing over there? Freeze the ground. It's not that difficult. Just freeze the ground. It makes everything more entertaining. Try doing anything on the frozen ground. You'll see. You'll laugh more.
All right. I think that's enough. I'm good.
That's the end.
We're good. Yeah, I think so. It is 11:15. We got Valhalla town hall coming up in 45 minutes. I'm gonna grab something quick to eat, and then I'll be back on listening to that. I guess. I don't know. We'll see. What do you got going on today?
I will be watching Phantom very closely and just saying, "Come on, man! What is your stupid bankruptcy have to do with Phantom?" I'll be yelling that at the chart at various times throughout the day. What I have on that.
Yelling at the chart typically works.
Mantra plus yantra equals tantra. No, wait.
Okay, we're done.
Tantra. Tantra plus yantra equals mantra.
I don't get it. I'm out. We're done. I'll have whatever you're having.
Saying that, but you don't do the outro. You got to go seamlessly into the outro when you say that. Start doing the, we talked about this, we talked about that. FMC, hit us with the line.
Bro, I don't even know what we talked about today.
All right.
What did we talk about? We just kind of, I don't know. We just talked. We talked about Valhalla for a little bit. We talked SBF's thing coming up on Wednesday, interview. Going to be, we speculated on what does it all mean. Talked about macro, a lot of data coming out this week that's going to be important to set the stage for the rest of the year. 2023 coming up soon. Talked a little bit about crypto taxes. And by talked a little bit, I mean get a tax professional. They're the ones that are going to help you out.
We broke BlockFi bankruptcy live on the air.
Yeah, big news. BlockFi bankruptcy. Could have sworn that already happened, but I guess that was just an assumption. BlockFi, another drop in the FTX bucket. We'll see. 1984, that revealed. Yuga, Bored Apes, flipped CryptoPunks. Not a lot of meat on that bone, but Bored Apes doing well. Dogs doing well. Mutants doing well. Good for all of the Yuga holders out there. I want to know why 10KTF's not getting the pump too. I want the 10KTF pump. That seemed to be very short-lived.
Stop living for short amounts of time. Live long.
Long live 10KTF. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. Good turnout today for the show. Appreciate you all. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We are going to be back on the air for Wednesday. That'll be the 30th of November, the last day of November. Very exciting stuff. We'll be doing more of a deep dive on one NFT project, and I guess we're going to do Phantom Coin, seeing as free market is enamored with FTM.
We will do the coin I am long for no particular reason.
And we will disclose all of that. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, CJ Do Work saying, everybody make sure to hit the like button on your way out. I appreciate you saying it because I was about to say it. Hit the like button. Please. Please. All right. Free market, say the words.
Good luck at the tables, DJ.